The scariest mimics I've ever seen in a video game. So a mimic is a treasure chest that's actually a monster. And in Dark Souls, it waits until the last moment where you open it, and then it just shuts on you and starts... And I'm just like... Alright, we're back with some more of Darksiders. Okay, so, when I did this episode, I solved the puzzle and realized, hey, I'm not recording. So I'm just going to explain real quick what you have to do to properly solve the puzzle, even though the puzzle is solved. So we're just going to do a little Void Walker to here to get this chest. Hooah! We got ourselves a Wrath Shard. Alright, so all you got to do, it's very simple. Now that I'm not seething over the weight balancing act, that puzzle's done. I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. There's a couple episodes left. Intense puzzles are done. Okay. There's a couple puzzles left, but it's smooth sailing from here. Yeah. Okay. So basically, all you gotta do is grab these mirrors, and basically you're just going to reflect the light off of them, and then Void Walker the beam straight to the exit. Okay. And that's why those abyssal chain grappling points are there, so that you can easily make it to the other side. And yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Okay. I can only imagine what you said when you realized that wasn't recording. I looked down and I was just like, God damn it. And I was just like, oh, of course, it auto-saves. When was the last save? Right before the waits. Fuck it, I'll explain it in post. I looked back and I said, oh, hell no, I am not doing that puzzle again. It's one of those puzzles where it's just like, I did it. I sucked at it, but I did it. Am I going to try again? No. There's some things where I practice and I'm just like, I could do better, so I'll re-record. Right. That's not one of them. That and the vast majority of Avoidance Blob. Yeah. Was just like, I could do better. I don't want to. Yeah. So here it's about having fun. Absolutely. We're waiting for our third host. Oh, here she is. Aw, the kitty. She's like, it should be called Pupcorn. Pupcorn? Boobcorn? Ew. Nah, that's I mean, depending on the thumbnail, that could get us more views. Yeah. Welcome to Boobcorn. It's just a picture of boobies. I wonder what gets more clicks, boobs or cats? Cat boobs. Itty bitty kitty titties. I love it. We were having a serious conversation just about like finances and saving up for a house and, you know, paying student loans. And you just look at me like, why is there a cat with boobs on my paper? And I was like, I had to draw you a diagram of Luna's itty bitty kitty titties. Because nobody would believe me otherwise. I'm like, you just happened to notice while we were having a serious discussion. That's always when I notice the weirdest stuff. I'll be like, so if you see here, if we make these payments by October, we'll... What the hell is that? Itty bitty kitty titties. I'll be like, oh, my wife. You look over and I just draw a Dumblebee. The Dumbledore? Yeah. Harry, what's your name in the Goblet of Fire? Did one of your friends do it? Alright, so keep in mind, this beam redirecting is the second beam. There's still one more beam after this. Oh my god. So, today, in therapy, I had a hearty chuckle. Alright. So you know how I'm taking the courses to be Safe Serve certified? Yes. And there's an entire section on not being allowed to have tiny turtles. They specifically say tiny turtles. And I was sharing this with my therapist today just because I thought it was really funny and I wanted to tell her. And I was like, my question is, what if I had like an emotional support turtle? Like, which one is more important? The Safe Serve or
the emotional support. And she just looked me dead in the face and said, I'd write you a letter. And I started laughing, and I was like, now I'm just picturing this little tiny turtle, like, in a shirt pocket with a hairnet and, like, the little rubber gloves on its little flippers.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So she told me that I have to draw a picture of it.
I love it. Oh, here we go. Big plot.
Is sick, horseman. The Charred Council refuses to admit it, but those of us who look, we see. We had to do something. An open attack on the Dark Kingdom would violate the treaty. What you're proposing is madness.
Azrael, evil darkens every corner of creation. Heaven waits. The Council ties our hands.
To question them is to question the Creator. Do you believe you know better?
Yes, old friend. I do. When the seals are broken, Hell will send its chosen to declare battle rights. Their leaders will be gathered in one place, and there, we will sever the head of the beast. The Hellguard stands ready.
Breaking the seals will trigger the end war. The kingdom of man is not yet strong enough. Earth will be destroyed.
There will be no war, Azrael. We will crush the Dark Ones before it's even begun.
The pact is a sacred covenant. Even in victory, you will face the wrath of the Council.
They will arrive to find the seals intact. And it will be our word, Heaven's word, against that of the Prince of Lies. Now do you see?
The seals will be reforged. All will believe that Hell's legions invaded and were delivered to justice by our hand. For the glory of the light, will you do this? No, Azrael. You old fool. We broke all but one. Abaddon ordered the final seal not be harmed. He protected it himself. Are you certain? Without question. We dared not involve the Horsemen. We never dreamed we would have to, until it was too late.
Yet I am to pay the price for your betrayal.
Treason! Ward, you will root out all involved and make them pay. Starting with this one.
No.
Fool! You deny the will of the Council?
You heard the Angel's confession. My service to the Council is ended.
We made you. We own you. Not done until you find the Destroyer and shut him down. Balance, remember? Get up. Azrael lives until he stops being useful. After that, you will do your duty.
This is when I started to hate the Watcher, because I'm like, fuck. It would have been really cool if it's just like, psych, I'm not doing any more of this, I'm out. And I'm taking the war to the Council. But it's like, no, we have to take this to the end. So we have to redirect one final beam. Because War was basically like, you heard his confession, I'm clean, I'm out of here. But no, we have to continue. Also, I'm going to be perfectly honest, because this game ends on a cliffhanger and the story has yet to be resolved, if you have any questions, I will try the best of my ability to explain them, but I don't 100% understand the plot yet.
I don't know, right now it seems like the pretty standard idea. So like I've seen this a lot, where it's like the angels decide they want to bring upon the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. And 9 times out of 10, there's like one hero figure that's not an angel that's like, what? We can't do that. And then they try to stop it.
Okay.
So, and it's like, War seems to be the character that they are pinning the blame on. Yes. So that it's like, see, we didn't do anything wrong. It was that War guy. When in reality, they're the ones pulling all the strings. Mm-hmm. So, like, even if they don't do it, they're like having other people do it for them.
Correct.
Which is a pretty standard, like, story trope.
Okay.
For this genre. I still love it every single time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it is pretty standard.
You're a sucker for that trope?
I am.
No, nothing wrong with that. I'm a sucker for my own tropes. But having not finished 2 and not played 3, there's only so much of the story where I'm just like, does this get resolved? Does this not? Are we still waiting? We'll find out. Because, spoilers, this ends on a cliffhanger. Like, it resolves, but it leaves, like, a lot of loose ends untied.
I'm sure.
Got another artifact. Hoo-ah!
Hoo-ha-ha.
Alrighty. Now we're just going to do a little more void walking. But don't worry, no more waits. It's just all about watching the portals and waiting for the opportune moment.
Go! No.
Hold your ground, face your fears, and wait until the last possible moment. Oops, I went backwards. Okay.
Or I was just like, shit.
See, you wouldn't look at the map. You'd be like, new area, looks familiar.
I know, I'd
All
be
right,
like, let's
trucking
go! I'd have no idea that I went the wrong way.
You remind me of that Lewis Black joke where it's just like, there's a Starbucks, and across the street is another Starbucks. And I can only imagine people with like short-term memory loss exit the Starbucks and go, gentlemen, I think it's time for a cup of joe.
Yep.
You just look and be like, oh, you know what?
It's a
I
problem.
could use a cup of joe. No, I believe it.
I don't like not knowing that I've been to a place already.
Alright, so this one's going to spin around. I want to launch a bomb into that crystal. Because I think I mentioned this before, but I just want to reinstate. All the collectibles here you can only get during this visit. You cannot revisit the Black Throne. Whereas after this, you can use Volgrim's serpent holes to go to different areas and previous areas to collect what you've missed. If you miss something here, it's gone.
Yeah.
So what I want is all 10 pieces of the Abyssal Armor. There is one piece in here. Find your way to one piece. Alright. Chuck it through there. I think that worked. Now I just gotta wait for the portals to align once more. No, it didn't seem to work because that's not moving. It's supposed to move, but it's not. Oh, there we go. Nice.
I'm still just like, I don't know where we are.
Hooray! Another Abyssal Armor piece. I'm not going for all the Wrath shards or the Health shards, but I'll go for the Abyssal Armor and the best sword in the game.
Okay.
The best sword's required. The best armor is not, but the best armor helps in the finale. So that's with that.
I still get distracted by his shoulder pads.
Oh, yeah. Just like someone discussed it. Hurry up already.
I don't want to go.
In one of the God of War games, there's like a decapitated head that communicates with you as you're going around.
That is one of my favorite stupid deaths. I think it was Viking.
That might be right. That's interesting because that particular God of War takes place in Norse mythology.
That's probably what they intended.
Okay.
But it's like, one of the leaders was decapitated, and as a trophy, his severed head was tied to the horse of his...
enemy?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
And while riding, the severed head bit his leg,
Yes.
and then he ended up dying of sepsis.
What a way to go. It's like,
You may have won the battle, but I'll take you with me.
Like, what a legend.
that's like a Game of Thrones death. They kill the last Stark,
Yeah.
and the
head
severed head just bites one of the Lannisters.
The Lannisters send their regards.
The Lannisters send their regards. Alright, so now... we're going to do a power jump right here. Superhero landing. Alright. So now... open this one up. Yeah.
See, like, I would have no idea that this is what I'm supposed to do here. Like, if I was playing this, I would have no idea what I'm doing.
I'd tell you. I'd be like, experiment with all the portals. Well, always remember, like, you have to have a blue and an orange. So, if you ignite one, you have to find another to complete a path. And you can also use the other button to, like, disable a portal if you're just like, nope, don't want that one. But you always have to have two active to actually form a path. Think of it like a warp pipe in Mario.
I mean, it just...
Oh, it's complex. I'm not going to deny that.
I think it also has to do with, like, the ability to actually visualize, which I'm not very good at. Even, like, you open this and that's the other side, but I can't visualize where that goes.
Right.
I know because I watched you do it, but I know as soon as I were to land, I would not know where I'm at.
Yeah, you'd land and the camera would spin around and you'd be like, where am I?
Yeah, like, I can't visualize the mapping.
No, and that's fair. Whereas my problem would be designing a puzzle like this. It would end up like Fantasy Forever, where it's just like, this goes there, and that.
And I'm just like, wait, what?
You'd be like, no, it doesn't, you idiot.
And you're like, yes, it does! I'm like, okay, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And then I played it, and I was just like, hey, this doesn't connect. Aha!
You said it! You said it!
He said the thing! Alright. And I ended up correcting most of it. Like when we did the guide,
I mean, I wasn't even
like,
criticizing or anything like that. I was literally just asking because I didn't know how to write it down in the guide.
It's one of those things where it's like, in my head, this makes sense. And because I'm the designer, I know the path.
Yeah.
So I don't experiment with the other paths, which is something I'm learning with Elemental Wilds, is like, consider alternate paths that a player would take. That's something I just got to get better at. It's like, sure, you have the desired path of like a puzzle or how an area goes, but players are going to experiment. They're going to try different things. You need to understand what their experimentation is going to take there, where it's going to take them.
Right.
And hopefully it works without the game going
Yep.
just bottoming out. And that's the fun about game design. I will say, like, there was a channel I watched that said if you love video games, you owe it to yourself to design. And I think that's true because you gain a more of a respect for them, and you really gain a better understanding of just like how it works.
Yeah. I mean, Stephen King says the same thing about writing. If you want to be a writer, you have to be a reader.
Mm-hmm. Quite right. All right, you great demons. Well then, let us dance.
We do the dance of death.
That was the last story. The cycle is complete. The dance of death shall commence. It was like the two-sworded guy that was so good at counterattacks. That game did have some very challenging boss battles. I'm not going to deny that.
I think it just took too long to get started. Once it got going, it was a really decent game. It just took way too long to get there.
Yeah. You need that hook of being stranded on an island. You got a shipwreck. Works for Adol all the time.
I know, right?
So much that the series makes a joke out of it. It's just like, he shipwrecks a lot.
Well, I mean, that's the entire premise of Ys 9.
Well, yeah, because the Romans are just like...
They're like, you've wrecked a lot of ships, and we want to know why.
You've been to quite a few places. What's going on here?
Adol's just like happenstance?
And, a small little trailer was dropped, and it looks like Adol's gonna wreck again in Ys 10.
Well, naturally. I want just one time. Because how funny would it be if, like, he's on a ship, and everyone is expecting it to wreck, but he brings it to port, like it docks, and then it just sinks at the dock. like there is no tragic shipwreck, but everyone just stands there and watches as it goes down. Like, son of a bitch.
In E7, they just dock safely and onto the adventure. And I think Dogi comments like, hey, that's a little unusual for us.
Yeah.
That's about it with E7. But most of the other ones, he shipwrecks and boom, a new adventure begins. 8 so far is the only one that really like builds on the mystery of it, of like, how did we get here? How do we get off?
Well,
whereas usually it's just like, doesn't matter, adventure.
Well, yeah. Well, even there was the lore, because it starts with the captain explaining the lore of the island about how there's no one ever survives, no one escapes, and they shipwreck on that island. So they're like, no, we have to escape.
With Adol, Sahatu, Loxia, and her sword. A mad doctor, a estranged, a nobleman, here on Isle of Sarin. And primordials, can't forget them.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, praise be to Jesus. Decapitation! Oh, you might want to get that looked at. Hold on.
Well, those are his ribs. I thought he had like a mouth with teeth on his stomach.
Oh no, that's his rib
like,
cage.
yeah, those are ribs.
Now there's some games where there's monsters like that where you tear off the head. Dark Souls is like that. You'll cut off the head and then the body will form a new head.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Jesus! Dark Souls has the scariest mimics I've ever seen in a video game. So a mimic is a treasure chest that's actually a monster. And in Dark Souls, it waits until the last moment where you open it, and then it just shuts on you and starts. And I'm just like, you son of a bitch! Whereas most of them, it's like as soon as you open them, they're like, yeah, I'm a mimic. But in Dark Souls, it literally waits until you go in to look to be like, what did you get? And it goes.
Well, yeah, it's like it knows the precise time to snap, so it gets to eat.
Okay, so these shield guys, the best way to beat them is to use the counter ability when they do a shield bash. Another nice thing is when their hammer gets lodged into the ground, it gets stuck for quite a while, so they're like,
yeah, like, well, this is inconvenient.
So then they leave themselves open. But yeah, if you get hit by that, you'll feel it. Without their armor, they kind of look like mummies.
Yeah, they do.
There we go.
It was just his legs and hips.
All right, we'll call it a draw.
It's just a flesh wound.
'Tis but a scratch. Your arm's off. No, it isn't. Look, I've had worse. Look, you stupid bastard, you got no arms left.
There's a part of me, I have a big scratch on the back bumper of my car, and I want to make like a vinyl bumper sticker. 'Tis but a scratch.
I'd love it. You need to have the helmet of the Black Knight.
Yeah.
I move for no man.
That would be an amazing bumper sticker.
I'd love it.
Hey, let me in. No. No, I won't.
None shall pass. I have no quarrel with you, good Sir Knight, but I must come through. I move for no man. So be it. The battle's mine. We thank thee, Lord, for the... Starts getting kicked.
Yep.
Look, you stupid bastard, you got no arms left. I'll bite your legs off.
I think that and the monks are my favorite part of them. Well, I guess like all the super famously quoted parts.
My favorite is the killer rabbit.
Oh my god, yes.
You tit! I sold my arm, I was so scared. Look, that rabbit's got a vicious streak a mile wide. It's a killer. And then it just goes, and cuts his head off. Jesus Christ!
I do also like the knights who say me.
I love the whole movie. Do you think this scene's going on a bit long?
Get on with it!
Get on with it! That's what I feel with this area. The Black Throne. Get on with it! When we get
War's
to the
like,
boss,
I'm
though,
trying.
it's pretty cool. Oh, shit. You better live in space.
Sorry.
Well... bummers. Alrighty. There we go. Much better.
I just thought of a really gross game idea that I know we wouldn't be able to do yet. Just because of what it would need.
The design?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it would be a zombie game. But you're the zombie.
Okay.
So, and you don't get any equipment, but you can use your body as the equipment. So it's like, I'm over here and there's a giant pass that I need to get over. So you like take your intestines and like throw it over to like swing across.
Oh, wow. That'd be really cool. Oh, it should be like a Castlevania game.
That would be really
And you're like
cool.
an undead zombie. Oh, that'd be really cool. Like,
you can like take your one arm and like beat, I don't know, to like extendo arm.
we can't make it too similar to Medieval, but like if we made it like a blend of like a Castlevania, like I'm gonna write that down. That's really clever.
I'm just
Because
like, I think that'd be
Medieval
fun.
is this game about like this famous knight who died in battle and he's resurrected because he's like the last hope.
Yeah.
But the twist is he didn't die valiantly in battle. He was struck by the first arrow.
Aww.
But he still has to like redeem the legacy that like people have built
Yeah.
up for him. And you're a skeleton, and you go around collecting like doodads in like this Zelda-esque adventure to stop the evil sorcerer. And I never played it, but like it looked pretty cool. They remade it for
Sounds pretty
PS4.
cool.
But yeah, that's immediately what I think of, especially when you're just like use your intestine as a whip.
Like, I just think it'd be neat. I feel like it would have to be like a dark humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you'd have a spleen bomb. And
That'd
then
be
people,
really
like,
cool.
the enemy would be like, did you just throw a spleen at me? And then it would explode. Man, I hate it when that appendix ruptures. Like,
That'd be pretty neat. I like that. On top of the thousands of other ideas we have.
I know.
I have decided that after Elemental Isles, that the next one is going to be like little exercises to also give you to be like, hey, sprite me a bat, or
Yeah.
sprite me a coin, or sprite just little things, and then I implement them in the game to see how they look. Instead of being like, hey, sprite me this complex character with triple jumps and backflips.
Yeah.
No, just sprite me a coin. Okay, sprite me a ladder. Just very basic stuff. And it's just like, okay, we're getting this. On to the next one.
Yeah.
I think that would be a cool way to like both exercise the basics of game design, but also sprite work. Because, like they say, I'm watching this channel by the creator of Kirby and Smash Brothers, Sakurai, and he does game design tips. And he's always just like, start small.
Yeah.
He's just like, everyone wants to immediately start with like, I want my game to have 7 worlds and like all these collectibles. And he's just
Yeah.
like, if you're just into game design,
Well, that's the
design
that's
a ball
the,
that
yeah.
bounces into a hole.
Well, that's the whole idea of like Oh Milo.
Yes.
Super simple.
Because I know sometimes you're just like, I want to make a game like Ys, and I'm just like, baby steps.
Yeah. I tend to think
However,
like in
if
a
you want to see
super
footage of Ys 1,
Yeah.
I'm like, that we could do.
Yeah. Well, I tend to think in the form of like a super big picture, and then I try to like break it down into how to get to there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I don't build naturally, where it's like, oh, I make a ball, and then I'm like, oh, well, I can turn that ball into a triangle, and then I can turn that triangle into a shield.
And I'll put that flea in a box.
Yeah. My brain thinks like, I can build a castle. And then it's like, okay, well, what do I need to know so I can build a castle? And then I break it down into the smallest piece so I can build upon that. I kind of like
Okay.
go
Whatever
backwards.
works best for you. I got you.
It's unfortunate because sometimes I don't know how to break it down.
Oh, okay.
I do that a lot with my books and my stories, where it's like I have the big idea, but I don't know how to get there.
Ah, okay. That's my problem when I design like Elemental Wild. It's just like I have the opening, I have the ending. I
What
gotta
happens
fill
in
out
the
the
middle?
Gotta fill out that middle. Because then you just have like a big old hole in the middle, and it's just like, well. But No, a fun fact about the original Ys, and I'm talking about the first version, not the remakes that they've done. The very first version of Ys, they didn't know how to properly program sword fighting. So he rams into the enemies.
I love it.
He doesn't even swing the sword. You bump into the enemies. It's complex because it's just like, am I doing anything? So you got to pay attention to like, whose health meter is going down. You are the enemy. But originally, Adal was just like...
He's like, I only have a dagger.
Just shanking enemies. So now, like, I just picture if it was in modern graphics and Adal fought like that,
really
he'd just
weird.
be like...
He really would have just have like a little shank. Shiv.
But no, it's come a long way because now he's a very stylish swordsman.
Yeah.
Oh, the combat in that game is beautiful.
See, it makes
I hope
like,
10 is just as beautiful.
It makes me wonder because I really love the newer ones so much. If the older ones just aren't going to be for me. Because there's that big divide in fans that are like, we don't like the newer one with the team focus and all this stuff.
The older ones are harder
like,
and more about, hey, if you're not paying attention, these bosses will pummel you and it's your fault.
So, but it just makes me wonder, like, will I like the older ones? Or am I one of those new gen fans that'll just like the newer ones are my thing?
You'll have to try Ys Origin.
Yeah.
Ys Origin is like the purest, like old school Ys in a new form. That's the last one they did.
Yeah.
All the other ones are similar. All the other newest ones, starting with 7, follow that pattern. And 8 so far is the best one.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know. 9 could be better.
I do really like 9, but I still like 8 more.
I got you.
But I'm only like maybe a quarter to halfway through.
I'd say you're roughly half. I looked at like an outline just to see roughly because 9 is shorter than 8.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, we talked about everything with Darksiders. In the next episode, let's try to talk about Darksiders.
Toodles!
I will never stop talking about Ys.